In the last discourse, we discussed about the middle path, and to contemplate this middle path in simple language, we took example of Samudra Manthan. In this Samudra Manthan, on one side were the gods and the other sides were the demons. And I had asked you to focus on neither sides, but rather concentrate on the middle and the vertical area. This central area comprised of a tortoise at the base, a mountain shaft called Mandara, and its churning within the ocean. The focusing upon this center mechanism had been explained as the middle path. Buddhism speaks about 8 noble folds, 8 paths, 8 requisites to prepare yourself for the upward journey. And this 8-fold path has been explained as the right view, the right resolve, the right speech, the right action, the right livelihood, the right efforts, the right mindfulness, and the right samadhi. I am not very sure if sage Kapila or Buddha himself would have categorized them. However, it's a good categorization, and for the sake of simplicity, we will also follow the same. From the perspective of Sanatan Dharma, if I have to explain you the right view, the view that you should have before taking such journey, then my explanation could be little different than the English translations and interpretations that you read. But I believe the right view itself suggests that you need an accurate and a correct view. Right view cannot be explained in a very simplistic manner as I see the translations in modern Buddhism. Right view is explanation of a concept called Pratitya Samutpada. Now, what is Pratitya? In Sanskrit and Hindi, Pratit means to feel. If I ask you, what do you know about God? You may not have many answers. But if I ask you, what do you feel about God? You may have many answers. So it's not only about knowing, it's about feeling. So Pratitya means feeling. How do you feel about a particular subject? And this is a deeper psyche than merely knowing, because knowing would have only logical verified data, but feeling could also encompass illogical data that has not been processed and cleared by your mind. So you may feel much deeper than you may know. Hence, it is better to use this word Pratitya rather than knowing. Right view is nothing but Pratitya Samutpada. Now, what is Samut? Samut suggests that every feeling that you have has a cause towards it, has certain limitations towards it. And in the middle path, all this comprises of this tortoise, this Kashyapa. Tortoise is the base of your journey going forward, and right view has to necessarily talk about this tortoise. Please understand this tortoise very well, because it has been explained in all the religions of the antiquity. Imagine the situation in 5th century BC. The Greek mythology, the Sanatan Dharma, were all flourishing together in Persian area. And the meaning of tortoise is well explained in Greek mythology. It says that once Zeus called upon a meeting in the forest, and all the animals came to attend it except the tortoise. The tortoise complained Zeus that he felt afraid in front of all the animals, and hence he felt comfortable and secure within his home. Zeus gave him a shield and told him that now this is your house and you move with your own house. What does this necessarily mean? This necessarily means that meditation and sadhana are going to be your internal journey. You have to be prepared before you begin this internal journey, because later on you might not be able to communicate with the external world when the process is on. And hence, the first step of Eightfold Noble Path called right view is extremely important. Another example of tortoise can again be seen in the demigods of Greek mythology. There is a god called Hermes. He has two unique attributes. One of them is tortoise and another is a shaft. If you look at that shaft, it is symbolically representing the nadis, the two nadis of the meditative chakra. The two coiled snakes on a shaft is nothing but representation of the Kundalini energy. So what does it say? It says that at the base would be the tortoise, and on the top of it will be the Kundalini energy as depicted through Hermes. Hence, this tortoise is very important. In Sanatan Dharma, there are two more references to it. One is the Kashyapa avatar of Vishnu, which is his main avatar, and it suggests that Kashyapa gives support to earth on its back. That necessarily means that what we feel about earth is earth for us. The Pratitya is what we feel about any subject, and the tortoise gives the base and the comfort to our feelings. Another example in Sanatan Dharma is Sage Kashyapa. Kashyapa was father of all the gods, demigods, demons, angels, animals, humans, spirits, everything. This again clarifies that what we feel about gods and demons are nothing but the tortoise. And this entire tortoise has got origination. It's Pratitya Samutpada. That means whatever we feel has got reasons for the same. Yet another example of tortoise is Kassapa Buddha. Now, who is this Kassapa Buddha? He is one amongst the 5 most important Buddhas. And you should understand this Kassapa Buddha because he can remind you of yourself. He did not perform a long austerity, only a week of austerity. And where was he born? He was born in Isipatana. Isipatana deer park. Now, what does deer do? Deer move around in search of musk. And Isipatana means it's a combination of two words, Isi and Patana. Patana means to know, to find. So Kassapa Buddha in you may start with simple, non-serious wandering behind truth. It might not be that serious. The austerity might not be very deep, just a week of it. But that's enough. To have the right view, you don't have to waste your life. If you are smart enough, if you have got that grasping power. And for example, you just read the book that I have written. I might have taken years to write it, but you might take days to read it. And if you can understand them, your right view is cleared. A Newton might have took his whole life to find a particular law, but now we can understand it very well in very short time. So getting the right view may be easy in today's circumstances. There is knowledge available. Don't look at others. All these Buddhas deviating from the current topic, just let me give you one small example. What was the first miracle of any Buddha? The first miracle of any Buddha was a particular type of rain. The Buddha would sit and start preaching and it would rain. The rain would wet only people who wanted to get wet. What does that mean? If you want to get wisdom, the wisdom is available. It's all about your want. So coming back to Kashyapa Buddha, it gives a fantastic example to get the right view before starting the journey. It is important. And while getting the right view, you should be reminded of Astavakra. And I've spoken about Astavakra in past. Astavakra is the 8 limitations of your human body. These 8 limitations are: you cannot see all the lights. That does not mean that truth has to adapt to your visible light spectrum. You cannot hear all the sounds. So that does not mean that truth has to adopt for you to comprehend. It can be in different wavelength. You cannot live beneath sea. You cannot fly. You cannot live under a particular temperature. And so on. So your 8 biological limitations makes the partitya for you. You feel about something in a particular way because of your biological limitations too. So you should understand that the feeling that is coming about a particular subject in you has got an origination point. It has got a cause. The right view has to be corrected before you take this journey. In some of my discourse, I have explained you how is the psychology of a human being comprised from the perspective of physiology. So you will see that in Mahabharata we see various generations. So they create a human being. For example, the first generation is Bhisma, Chitrangada, Vichitravirya and Vyas. Now these 4 brothers, they comprise your first circle. So you need to understand all of them and understand the reason why you feel about a particular thing in a particular way. And when you know the reasons, the right view will open up. Many a times, we feel that we should know only one religion. We should simply respect other religions, but we should read only one religion or practice only one religion. This secularism is basically blunting our view towards religion. There can only be one religion at a time. You cannot assume God in different forms. You cannot say that there is a Buddha and a Allah and a Jesus and a Ram and a Krishna. No. All these could be different names for one God. And hence you need to know all the religions. Will it take a lot of time? Yes, it could. But I believe that we are all lucky that I have documented it in a very precise manner, just a matter of few days. And once you know all the religion and their interdependence on each other, you will start cultivating a religion of your own, and which will be an appropriate religion for you. Hence, to have the right view, you need to have the right knowledge. And when you are having the right knowledge, please be reminded of one thing. There is a story about Kashyapa Buddha. He died, and his disciples wanted to make a stupa. They did not have money to make stupa, but they announced that each brick of this stupa would be worth 10 million. And foolish. Why? Because they did not have money, but then they announced that each of the brick will be 10 million worth. There was a person called Socrates who went around, collected donation, kept sending it back, and the stupa was complete. Socrates heard about it, heard about the completion of the stupa, and he wanted to come and see it. On the way, he was killed by robbers. So don't look for your popularity while getting the right view. This is the right view you are getting for your personal consumption, and this is beginning of your journey. This is the first step of the eightfold noble path of Buddhism. So please do not get into popularity seeking. Begin to preach. This is the time for you to remain calm. Get the right view and let the next step begin. Enough for today. Thank you so much.